Hello and welcome to the channel. One of the characteristics of a good leader is showing a decisiveness that can sometimes come across as bold, brave, and tough. Making tough decisions is a leader's remit. Say what you will about President Tinubu, and there is plenty to say. But in his first few days in office, the one thing you can't level at him are those attributes listed above. On the other hand, his predecessor, who was famed for being the opposite, slow, indecisive, and to an extent timid with his decisions. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Jagaban has grabbed the bulls by the horns. Some said he went off script. They said the script said end of June. They argued he should have consulted with labor unions and worked out the cushions before pulling the subsidy rug off the feet of the masses. But it seems Jagaban has not come to play. He wobbled a bit, but didn't backtrack. Effectively, he has taken two mad bulls by the horns. Petrol subsidies and multiple naira exchange rates have long tormented the fatherland. All that remains is how he guides the bulls through the abattoir with minimal collateral disruptions. The troubles of Nigeria are naked. They are not occult. They don't come as masquerades. They are barefaced. The failure of our government to confront them is a bizarre real-life tragedy. The petrol subsidy has been a bull goring the country into penury. At the cost of about 4 trillion naira a year, we didn't need soothsayers. In a country whose entire revenues can do no more than service its debts, sobriety should abound. Yet, the previous government coddled the bulls while Nigeria choked. The wide gulf between the official and parallel market exchange rates destabilized the economy and fattened wolves in high places. Where on earth do sane folks allow such a wide disparity in exchange rates to exist and yet cry about forex racketeering and corruption? It is pathetic we don't know our actual petrol consumption figures. But does it even matter? In the main, we are a rural country. Our borders are porous. We lack the will to bring Lutons to book. Consequently, we have been feeding the entire West Africa with cheap petrol since time immemorial. But we are no longer whom we used to be when we built Festac Town overnight. We can't continue to fritter away our resources because we are perilously broke. It doesn't matter whether the subsidy figures are real or fictitious. Successive governments have not been able to solve the maths. We can't hire juju priests to help us out. Anything that sucks the giant of Africa dry into ridicule must be exorcised. Buhari could have dispensed with the subsidy when the ovation was high in 2015, but they perhaps told him petrol would be much more expensive in Katsina and Niger Republic than in Lagos, so he hesitated. By the time reality compelled him to rethink, his government had been castrated by the hand-source youths and didn't have the guts to risk another nightmare. A president must be decisive. Buhari was decisive in 1984. Jagaban is showing decisiveness in 2023, albeit with some wobbles. However, it appears he came prepared. He must not backtrack. He might have got the timing wrong, but backtracking will complicate the situation. It is incontrovertible that the government has become incapable of managing the petrol subsidy to the overriding benefit of poor Nigerians. The program has become so infested with corruption and its effects so debilitating to national economic health that it's now anathema. There will be an initial heavy toll on the poor. Prices of basic services and commodities will jump. Life will be more miserable for many. There will be restiveness. It is a harsh pill. So the government must establish barricades of succor against the tide of inflation. The government must show conflict resolution acumen and problem-solving dexterity. The government must show empathy. A good government exhibits empathy, But empathy in this circumstance isn't merely to open the vault and throw money at the problem. Yes, the workers trekking to work must have their wages raised. Yes, a forward-looking system that cares must work out mass transit options to cater for many whose cars have been retired by high petrol costs. Then the money realized from the subsidy withdrawal must be used to create the infrastructure that would raise the standard of living and enhance business to attract investments and create quality jobs. In addition, the money the government has borrowed to cushion the social impact of the removal must be used judiciously and creatively. Wanton dissemination of cash gifts like Father Christmas will be lazy, thoughtless, and wasteful. The loan comes to about £1 billion per local government that can fund 3 decent rural clinics with mobile ambulance vehicles and a year's stock of free drugs. £1 billion per local government area can be used to meet the most pressing needs of the rural people as articulated by the people themselves. That can fund a sustainable cooperative society for farmers in a local government, bringing in equipment, improved seedlings and fertilizers at cheaper rates. That can drill 500 boreholes in a local government and banish water shortages in dry places. But empathy in this circumstance goes beyond telling the suffering masses to come and shop or to persevere. There is the important emotional aspects. If the government officials realize the enormity of the problems the withdrawal will impose on the people, they will show substantial contrition. Since the intervention is ultimately therapeutic, it shouldn't be stopped. But to console and assuage those bearing the brunt of the policy, the government must begin a drastic trimming of government size and expenditure. True empathy means identification with the victim and his predicament. So workers can't tighten belts and trek to work, while big government officials ride in elongated convoys and live fat lives. Belt tightening must start from the top in conspicuous ways. Empathy is solidarity. But since these austerity measures began, the public has watched politicians live like the national barns are full. Politicians are fat and chubby. Politicians have staged parties. Politicians have trooped to Daura to greet Buhari. The public has watched governors junket the country and hold sybaritic dinners in the name of inauguration. If the government and its big officials continue living like the biblical prodigal son, while cutting off subsidies and worsening the pain of inflation, then they could be deemed mischievous and cruel. So to be truly decisive, Jagaban and his men must practice what they preach. They must prescribe to themselves a double dose of the pills they have dished to the masses. The people are watching. Empathy isn't empty slogans and tired cliches. Empathy is honesty. The Igbo say, he who makes haste makes luck and avoids calamities. Jagaban has taken the bulls by the horns. He came prepared. But to renew hope, Jagaban's government must seize corruption by the balls and live frugally. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.